Well, that's it.
Ladies and gentlemen, RackMe podcast, playoff time. We're rolling. We're cooking. It's happening. With me is the Commissioner, Ken Mosca, Tony Mazer from the Check Your Brain podcast. And, ladies and gentlemen, your fan favorite, the one that's always requested, that one that the internet loves. You guys love this guy. You know him from the Inappropriate Earl podcast, the Comedy Store Wrestling podcast. Roast battle until that disgusting asshole pig, Jeff Ross, fucked him over, ruined his career, stole roast battle when it was a concept of his, when it was in the belly room, and then he fucked all the roast battle contestants, fucked Earl, and fucked over roast battle. Now roast battle sucks. As soon as he lost to Blake Griffin, it was over. Now it's nothing because of Jeff Ross. Ladies and gentlemen, Earl Skakel.
I just want to say that Chad Zumock's views are his views alone. It's a new Earl. It's my New Year's resolution. I love Jeff Ross. He's awesome.
Here we go.
Well, I get in the mud, Earl.
I love all the creeps and pedophiles. They're all misunderstood. The 300 accusers, they're all lying.
Well, Earl, you know I like to get in the mud. I'm a mud shark. I like to mix it up. I like to fight. And I
can't keep up with all the feud. You're like an 80s pro wrestler. I listen to a lot of podcasts just because it helps me go to sleep. It helps me
helps you go to sleep.
Every podcast I listens to, what am I, Shaq? They all have you in their sights. Like, you are a heel. You're maybe the first pro podcasting heel.
I told you I got into this game because of Roddy Piper. Was never a comedian. So, I mean, he's a huge inspiration. I don't play ball, son. I don't care. I'm not looking to get fans or friends. Fuck them. And guess what? I get fans because I'm playing the heel. So bring it on. I'll fight all you fucks at DabbleCon. And by the way, Earl's the only one getting pussy at DabbleCon. That's it.
Well, I mean, I got to check it. The flights are a little more than I had anticipated. So I might have to zoom in my DabbleCon appearance. But,
there you go.
No, I want to go. But LA, there's no LA to Rochester, so you gotta, when you gotta fly into LaGuardia or Kennedy and then another flight, and Shuley, who is one of my Ric Flair homies, he I guess he got, I don't know if he's filming a reality show where he got a house for all of us, but my plan is to come.
A content house, if you will.
Yes.
You beat me to it, Chad.
All of us said the same thing.
I know.
A bunch of dirty old men living in a house. No pussy allowed.
Well, from Tampa, was it February 3rd and 4th? We'll give them a plug. Is that the date?
Yes, I'm sorry. I just woke up, to be honest with you. So I'm just,
it's fine. This is not a professional podcast by any means.
I am not a mud shark.
Yeah, you got to get in the mud, dude. I'm looking at Tampa to Rochester flights, and I'm going to tell you right now what they are. I'll tell you what they are. But then again, it's only 2 hours away from me. You're flying across the country. Oh, it's like $400 for me, so I can only imagine.
Talking about $600 to $800 probably, and I fly first class. I can't sit in coach.
You're a Skakel.
You're a Skakel. Well, I was about to say that too. You're a Skakel, man. Come on.
I have a reputation to uphold. I can't be seen sitting in 34A in the back.
With commoners?
I don't go past 6.
Right.
So, but I'm looking forward to it. But I know you have. I was hoping you would come because I think that would make the festival. To be honest with you.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm on record. I go,
not me or Tony.
I would love for you guys to come, but I don't think you guys would have. It would be like, Chad as he's left a mark on the podcasting community.
Mm-hmm. No, I told that piece of shit Carl in Rochester, fucking fly me the fuck out. Put me up. I will sit front row and I will watch the whole thing and I'll sit there. You want to make jokes? I'll be sitting right there with your shit, ugly wife who's a Rochester 2. Put me right. I'll start drinking again and I'll watch the show, man. Let's do this.
You don't want to start drinking again, but I mean,
Well, you're going to have to at DabbleCon. Even Tony said that.
Yeah, Bob Levy. You don't want Bob Levy jerking off on a picture of your mom, so you always have that.
Yeah,
Tony's like, even Tony said, if I'm going to DabbleCon, I got to drink because I mean, there's so many fucking losers going to be there.
Well, I mean, I have had some training because I did go to Skankfest in Brooklyn. I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago, and I enjoyed my time. I mean, not many women there. I'll be honest with you, but it was.
Can you confirm or deny a lady comes walking around the corner after seeing you perform, saying, "Earl, can I give you a blowjob?" And you were like, "Absolutely."
Well, there were several moments at that festival because we did the naked roast battle, and I was judging, and I had a few offers after the roast battle because I got a hammer, so including someone's mom. But let's get to the picks, guys. I don't want to hog the podcast with.
Well, there's only 4 games, so we have to kill a lot of time right now.
By the way, rest in peace, David Crosby.
Oh, he's dead, huh?
Oh, did he die?
He gone.
Got another one. Rest in
power.
No, rest in peace, Jerry Blavitt. Jerry Blavitt passed away moments ago. He's got the Memories of Margate right down the block here, about a mile away, and the Geeter with the heater, and he passed away.
What's with everybody from Atlantic City? Ken, don't die on us. It seems like everybody from your neck of the woods is dying on us.
Listen, my buddy Chris Ford passed away. Earl, Chris, local guy, played for Villanova, lost to UCLA in the finals, got drafted by the Pistons. 4 years later, got traded to the Celtics, and the rest, as I say, is history. Won championships as a player and a coach in Boston, and was head coach in Milwaukee, and made big money with that old Donald Sterling with the Clippers, and he passed away.
I mean, we're around so much death, all of us. I don't even get sad.
Yep. Just
it's comics and wrestlers.
I mean, another wrestler just died. Jay Briscoe.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yep.
So
who was the wrestler that died?
Jay Briscoe. He was part of the Briscoes, and they never got their full shot because they had some homophobic remarks a long time ago, and I think any company, AEW, WWE, was afraid to. Those would have been brought up if they would have been signed, and so it's sad that most, like, you got to be a real wrestling mark to know who they were, which is sad because they were all-time great tag team.
It's a car accident, right, Earl?
Yeah, nothing drug related. I think he had 2 daughters in the car too, and they're pretty fucked up. So it's just because when I was at the Flair roast, it was really cool backstage. There's a whole bunch of other matches, and I saw the Briscoes going over their match with the Von Erich kids. And it was just neat to see them practicing, and then 20 minutes later, the exact layout of the match was happening, and I mean, I think another comic died a couple of weeks ago out here. I don't even remember. I
didn't realize there were Von Erichs, Earl, still wrestling, man. That family, that's a tragic story, all that. Man, oh man, there's still Von Erichs that are wrestling?
Yeah, the kids,
the kids. Oh, all right.
Who was the barefoot Von Erich? That's his kids.
He's the only one I think it's Kevin, and he just lives off the grid in Hawaii.
Kerry was the money guy until he lost his foot. Like, he lost half of his foot.
Yeah, in a motorcycle accident.
Yeah, but he still wrestled. He was so good that he wrestled with basically a fake bottom portion of his leg, and Piper told me he was one of the few people that knew. Like nobody knew because he was so fucking jacked, and really 4 of the 5 brothers died. Zac Efron's doing a movie right now about it.
About the Von Erichs or Kerry Von Erich?
About the Von Erichs, and I don't know who he's playing. I'll guess Kerry because I saw a picture of him, and he looks. I don't know what he's doing, but he looks just like Kerry Von Erich, and so
Wow.
I don't know.
No, women love that dude. When he made his WWF debut, he was the Texas Tornado, and I remember he fought in the Survivor Series with the Legion of Doom and the Ultimate Warrior. Do you remember that episode?
Oh yeah, I just been going back watching old SummerSlams. Man, I miss those days. Like this storytelling.
One of them was right with SummerSlam 3 was here in Atlantic City back in 86, 87.
My Sid Vicious doll from SummerSlam 91 when he was the special rep.
Can you believe I co-hosted his show with him?
That's I love his interviews, man. Like he keeps it real.
Oh yeah. He was a badass. He was in the Four Horsemen for a minute with Barry Barry Windham.
That's my favorite promo ever when they bring Sid Vicious in, and Ric Flair is so coked up. He can't, like, he's about to pop out of his skin, and it's really funny because that was Sid's first feud in the Horsemen was against RoboCop. So they make him promo on RoboCop.
When it was a disaster when RoboCop showed up, like it took him like an hour to get to the ring, and they were trying to stall. It was a fucking mess. And it wasn't even Peter Weller.
Improv.
It wasn't even Peter Weller. It was just some guy.
Well, they didn't really realize from the time because Sting was locked in a cage, and they, the shtick was RoboCop walks down, rips up the cage, and then they fight the Horsemen. But they didn't realize that RoboCop can't really walk at a fast pace. So the Horsemen were like doing some amazing improv, acting like they can't go past a certain line. It was pretty funny to a wrestling fan, and All
right, well, let's keep this improv going to the first game that we have, ladies and gentlemen. That was a perfect lead into Saturday, January 21st. Ken Mosca, commissioner. First of all, before we get rolling, where we stand in the football pool? Who's winning? Who's losing? Who's in the lead? Who's in the last?
Well, sorry guys, it's still me. I'm still in the lead. I did. I don't know if you posted a chat. I did send you the update.
That's on
but
me.
I'm still in the lead by 8 games. Now, this past week, 8 of our participants were in, and Dan Florentine won the week, but he still trails me. So yeah, I'm still leading, but you have you have I don't have the standings in front of me. And I don't want to take the time.
It's all good. I'll post them on patreon.com/.
Yeah.
RackMe, this one's going out for free because it's the holidays. It's 2023. And it's not every day we can get Earl Skakel on the podcast. And you guys wanted him. You get him. We got him. He's here. He's queer. We're doing it. It's Saturday, January.
Yeah, I just sent you something, Chad.
I just got it.
Maybe toward the end of the podcast, we can revisit that promo.
Will this demonetize me, though? That's the thing.
Was just Sid coming in on the Horseman? I don't think so, but I don't know.
Yeah, this is Sid Vicious joins the Horseman. I got the YouTube link. Let's put that to the side, and we will jump in game 1 this Saturday. Who we got, Ken Mosca?
So it's Jacksonville at Kansas City. Opened at 8.5, and it's still 8.5.
Still
8.5. Kansas City's so good. And I really, they're going to win. They're going to cover. So I'm going to take Kansas City. I'll lay those 8.5.
Tony Mazer, check your brain. Podcast, Patreon, sign up, everybody. What the fuck are you doing?
Yes, please. I could use it. Yeah, I'm gonna go Kansas City. That Jacksonville game the other day was very entertaining. Especially, I was out to dinner and watched the first half. I'm like, yeah, I don't need to watch the rest of this. Jumped in the car, went bowling. And I looked up, I'm like, wait a second, they're almost coming back in this game. And so it was a really nice story. Every so often you have one of these teams that make a really nice run, but I think the run ends. And kind of like when Denver played Pittsburgh in the with Tim Tebow. No one expected Tebow to do anything, and they beat the Steelers that week. Then the next week they get their asses handed to them by the Patriots. So I think it's going to be a similar situation. So I'm going Chiefs.
Earl
I don't know
Skakel
what's.
from Inappropriate Earl.
I was gonna say, I don't know what's worse. The Chargers choking the game away, or Tony going bowling.
I'm in a bowling league because I'm an old man. I'm
That's
also
terrible.
I'm also
man.
Polish. So
Okay.
it's in our
There you
blood.
go.
We have to do this. We have to wear
Exactly
black socks
right.
and flip flops.
I'm a quarter
Suspenders.
Polish. I back him up on this. You have to bowl when you're Polish.
Wow.
And if you're from Ohio, you have to have pink flamingos on your front lawn.
Yes, and white socks in your sandals.
I give up. Let's go back to Earl Skakel. I give up.
Earl from Inappropriate Earl, the Comedy Store football podcast, and newly member of Miserable Men on the Shuli Network.
Yeah, I'm like Sid. I came in late.
Yeah, you're like Sid, you're just like Sid Vicious.
I will say, speaking of being Polish, I was the celebrity endorser of the Polish hammer Krzysztof Oliwa's clothing line. Me and Barry Melrose. He was trying to go for a FUBU vibe because he was like, he loved rap, and I'm like, bro, no one's gonna buy these things from you. You're whiter than I am, and went out of business in 3 months. But I was on the website.
That's pretty cool.
Well, I was a fan, so it was cool to get to talk to him, but he didn't have great business sense, to be honest with you. Let me see. Getting back to football, enough of the plugs. I'm rooting for Jacksonville here, but Kansas City at home is just too good. I do think they will cover. I mean, Jacksonville has to play the perfect game, and that's not going to happen in Kansas City. So I think they'll hang with them for a quarter or two, but I see a 28-17 score here.
Oh, we got ourselves a prediction. Listen, I'm going to go with Earl on this one. It'll be an entertaining game, but ultimately Kansas City will win this game. And I'm going to go, I'm going to go with the points too. I got Kansas City locked and loaded. Ken Mosca. Do you got that?
Gotcha.
You
I
got
got
it down?
you. Got everybody. Got everybody.
All right, let's keep it rolling. Is this the game of the week? The Philadelphia Eagles versus the New York Jets, or I'm sorry, the New York Giants. Excuse me.
Yes, New York Football Giants at Philadelphia.
And Philly's giving up 7.5.
7.5. Yeah.
Commissioner, where are you?
Yeah, it's the 8:15 game Saturday night. I've been struggling with this one, but for me, it's which Daniel Jones shows up, which version of Jalen Hurts are you going to get? Because I still don't think he's 100%. And can the Giants? They shut down Jefferson last week. Can they do the same thing to Eagles, Brown, and Smith, the receivers? There's a lot there, and Barkley is running well. Who can run the ball? I've really struggled with this. I think Philadelphia is going to win the game. It's 7.5, man. It's still NFC East. It's playoffs. I'm taking the Giants. I think Philly will win, but the Giants will cover.
All right, I'm going to go next. The Eagles, they stumbled to the finish line. They had a lot of injuries. Some of their best players. They got Lane Johnson, Jalen Hurts, but they're back.
Dvorsky.
Yeah, but are they the same, Tony? Are they the same? Is the question. And I'm going to go with Ken Mosca on this because it's too close in the season. Ken Mosca's in the lead. No one can shake this guy. He's doing it on the up and up. So I got to just pick what Ken picks. And I'm going with Ken's pick. Earl Skakel, everybody, related to the Kennedys, never met Jackie Onassis. Go ahead.
I agree with Ken on this one. I think the Eagles will win the game, but if I'm a betting man, if I call up Bob Stupak's Vegas World and go, this is caller 565, give me a balloon, I'm going to go with the Giants. Balloon is $1 million for all you betting freaks. Parlay it with a Dolph Ziggler going over in the Royal Rumble. That's crazy to me that you can bet on pro wrestling. That blows my mind. Like, what?
I know. How can you? Who would
I
do
can
that?
see betting on football, basketball, hockey, MMA, boxing, but like in a rigged, in a scripted endeavor, I don't know. But I'm going with the Giants and the points.
It's funny you brought up Dolph Ziggler because I was messaging with him. He said he would do our Bad Guys podcast. So we got to lock that down.
I just did a comedy show with him last week at this comedy store. We had a big wrestling AEW basically comedy show after they had a show at the Forum, and several his brother, the Hollywood Hunk, did very well, and Big Bill Morrissey. You guys know the comedy I've seen. I've seen a lot of comedy. He had one of the better debuts I've ever seen of someone trying to get into stand-up. He killed.
So was Dolph just go there because of his brother, Nick?
Yeah, they do comedy as well toward the end. And everyone did well. It was like a really fun, sold out. But it was like a roast battle vibe. Like it was packed, wrestling fans, and it was like.
He's a big dude, right, Earl? He's a big dude too, right?
Morrissey?
Isn't he a big dude?
Oh yeah. He's 7 foot.
Yeah. Okay. I thought he was. Yeah, I thought he was big.
I mean, most people know him as Big Cass, from the WWF or WWE, and then he had such a good time. He's like, "Hey, can you get me a spot Saturday night?" And well, I can't get you a spot at the Comedy Store because it's just Saturday night. But I got him a spot at this it's an underground comedy club, and it's in a bad part of town. And I said, "This ain't the Comedy Store, bro. Like, you'll know if you want to do it if you do this, and then you want another spot." And he killed there. Like, he's really funny. He has an energy. He has obviously a presence when you're 7 foot something and 350 jacked.
Yeah.
So,
I thought he was big. Yeah, I thought.
He's very. I mean, like, I'm a big guy, 6'1", 200-ish in that area. I took a picture with him, and I had to put my arm around his shoulder and get on my toes. Like, he's a big man.
Tony Mazer.
Yes. Where are we? Oh, anyways, Giants. I'm going to go Giants in this one. I was honestly impressed with how the Giants offense was going with Daniel Jones, because as Ken said, they kind of do live and die with Daniel Jones. And if he's bad, Daniel Jones, it's going to be an early game. But I was pretty impressed with him against that Minnesota defense. So I wouldn't be surprised if they pull off the upset. I still think Philly's going to win, but I'm going to take the Giants. And I really would not be shocked if I see at the end of that game that the Giants win.
All right, let's keep this thing rolling into Sunday, January 22nd. We got Josh Sneed's Cincinnati Bengals versus Josh Potter's Buffalo Bills in Buffalo. Buffalo's giving up 5.5. Where you stand on this one, Commissioner?
It opened at 4.5. Yeah, but it's 5.5 now, Chad. I still have a problem trusting Josh Allen. I still say he can still throw not just one bad pick. He'll throw 2 bad picks. This is huge for him. But I love Burrow. I just love his cockiness. I love his game. I think Cincinnati can win this game. It's like, what Tony was saying about the Giants, can go in and win this game. If anything, they'll cover. I'm gonna take Cincy. I'm gonna take the 5.5, and will not shock me if they win outright. But I'm taking Cincinnati, and they have some injuries across the offensive line. You got to keep that in mind too. Yeah. So that could be an issue for Burrow.
3 of the 5 of the offensive line are out. So, okay, Tony, where are you at on this one? You're an Ohio guy.
Yeah, Cincinnati barely
down 71.
It's 3.5 hours away. It's basically the amount of time to get to Cincinnati is the same amount of time to get to comedy at the Carlson in Rochester. Not kidding. For DevilCon. I'm going to go Buffalo in this one just because they needed a little bit of that. They needed Miami with a rookie quarterback that nobody knows who he is to kind of smack him around a little bit, put him back into reality. And as much as I love Joe Burrow, I like what the Bengals have done this season. I think last week was a little bit of a wake-up call. And I'm going to go Buffalo. I hate taking the home team because they were home last week, and they played a team in sub-zero. They were in sub-zero temperatures, basically. They're playing a team from Miami, and Miami's still kind of laid it to them for parts of that game. But I think Buffalo's going to wake up a little bit and win this game with the points.
Earl Skakel.
It's a tough one, like Ken said, or like you guys both said, Cincinnati has 3 offensive linemen out. That's not good. But Buffalo is not really known for their pass rush, so it's that might not be as bad as if it was, say, the Steelers and their pass rush. This is because Cincinnati this game would have been at home if that game with Hamlin happened and Cincinnati won. So that's a weird
Great point.
Fly in the ointment there. I don't know if they'll be more motivated. Like, hey, this game should be in Cincinnati. This will be a great game. I'd definitely take the over in this game. I think it'll be a Wild West. It'll be like that one Charger playoff game where it's like 45. Who was it with Fouts and like who did they play in that game?
Was that what was that score? 51-50 or 51-48 or
I think that's a Van Halen album.
Yeah. But I just remember Kellen Winslow had like
the cramps.
Yeah, this is a tough game. If it was in Cincinnati, I would take the Bengals. But 5.5. The people who set these odds are so fucking smart because 5.5 is like the perfect amount to kind of hedge the bets of everyone. I think Buffalo will win the game, but I'm going to take Cincinnati in the 5.5.
Well, these
could go either way. Like, it's going to be a great game.
Yeah, if these teams were in full health, I honestly believe they're the 2 best football teams in the NFL right now. At full health.
100%. And I will say this: if they have Hamlin do something like, on Columbus for the Blue Jackets, they have someone ring the bell before the game, and Seattle, they have the 12th man. They'll bring out some old Seahawk. If they have Hamlin do something like maybe come out for the coin toss, I'll take Buffalo. If I can hedge my bet. But they will
parlay it.
That crowd will be so fucking jacked up if Hamlin is in that stadium.
Yeah.
If he is waving I don't know what Buffalo waves. Like, soon they have a white towel. But if he's at home watching, if they do a video, what they should do is have Hamlin do a video right before they come out for the coin toss. Go get him, guys. Pray for me.
Pray for me.
60-0.
Put him in a golf cart with O.J. Simpson, and you got that crowd going nuts.
Thank God they don't use the Steelers crew in that cart. It happened 2 more times this year at the Steelers home stadium where someone got hurt and they brought the cart out the wrong entrance. Like, it's out of control.
See, Ken, I'd be really impressed if they called Hamlin out, but it was actually Bob Hamlin, the former Kansas City Royals slugger.
Why not?
Bob.
That crowd will be so liquored up by the time the coin toss. They'll just put them in blackface.
Yeah, dude, send Earl out there. They'll be like, "Fuck yeah, Skakel!" They don't even know.
We got Skakel.
What they should do is have Ted Levine from Silence of the Lambs come out as Buffalo Bill.
Yes.
Why aren't you working for Buffalo Bills PR?
Listen to you guys writing your bits. This is beautiful. This is absolutely beautiful.
By the way, speaking of bits, I want to hear this from Chad. I've had 3 people ask me in DMs, what are your thoughts on Carol Baskin's husband being found alive?
We just talked about
but now they're saying that's not true.
Really?
Okay. There's a report that came out about 45 minutes ago that said that's not true. And it was the prosecutor. I'll look it up real quick. But go ahead, tell your part of the story. But it appears that she's full of shit.
Well, if it's not true, we're back to square one. But if it's true, Carol Baskins or whoever.
Yeah, he was.
Wait, Tony, I'm lost. Because I just woke up. Did they find the husband's body?
There was a report that said, we found this out earlier today, that said that the reports that she fed her ex-husband to the tigers was untrue, and that he's alive in like some third world country or something. I don't remember. And Ken, you said there was an update that was all bullshit, right?
Yeah, they're saying it was in. They said Costa Rica, although they haven't found him. They haven't laid eyes on him. He was declared dead in 1997, and but no one has laid eyes on him. They're saying he's actually alive in quotes, but no one has laid eyes on him.
So it's some assembly required.
Yeah. So,
according to Carol Baskin, she claims her husband isn't dead after all. Like the Tiger King star declared that her missing ex-husband, Don Lewis, was found alive and well in Costa Rica, but the discovery is just now going viral over a year later. So who knows? I don't know, Tony. I have no thoughts. I know I live 20 minutes from Big Cat Rescue if I wanted to go see her.
Thoughts and prayers.
Thoughts
do an
and
Instagram
prayers.
Live.
I will do an Instagram Live. People love content. Maybe I'll put it on Patreon. Maybe I'll put it on Earl's Patreon. Earl, plug your Patreon, would you?
Well, apparently it's, first of all, Ken Mosca is my highest ranking, highest paying Patreon. What do you call a Patreon subscriber? There's got to be some special word, right?
It's a Patreon subscriber, but Earl is prolific. He puts out so much stuff, and it's good. I was saying that to Chad before you got on. It's good. Subscribe to Earl's Patreon. It's not some of the bullshit some of these other people are putting out.
Well, my goal is to have people keep their subscription, not just sign up for a month and then that sucks. You know, I mean, it's I really want people to, you know, it's expensive, $5 a month, $20 a month. You know, that adds up over a year. So
what's the handle? Because I put Earl Skankel in and it says page not found.
Well, that's the crazy thing is, I guess
I know
I'm asking. I think I put in when I first made the page that it was not kid friendly or 18 and over, and I guess you have to put the whole link in. Which I mean, should I go?
It took some work.
How did you?
It took some work, Earl, to find it. It took some. I kept putting different things in there to search your name, to search, you know, different names of that you use for your podcasts and stuff like that. And it took me like a half an hour to find it.
Yeah, you're gonna have to fix that, Earl, because it says user ?
Yeah, I mean, I wish. I mean, it's pretty kid friendly, so I might.
It's under inappropriate Earl now. It's under inappropriate Earl.
And the Bonzo Berry level is from my favorite Miami Vice episode. So people are like, "What the fuck is Bonzo Berry?" So I'm gonna work on that, and you know, because I think I'd have more subscribers, but I think
they know where they're going.
Yeah, 100. I put the link in my Instagram and Twitter bio, but I'm new to trying to be proactive on shit like this. Like, I just want to do stand up, but
I know you got to do a million other things. When I saw Louis CK's on TikTok, it bothered me. I was like, Louis, you're better than TikTok. You don't need this.
But I was in the back room, the main room, green room the other night at the Comedy Store, and it was basically getting a free education on social media from Tim Dillon. He was talking to Eric Griffin, and I was going on next, so I had to be in the room, and it was interesting to hear Tim's thoughts on. He said, "You just need 1,000 fans, 1,000 hardcore fans who are your ambassadors," and you know, so it was motivating to hear the king of Patreon, basically,
$225,000 a month.
But you know, his content is really, it's just consistent. It's proficient. So
is Tim like? First of all, you go. This is how you got to do it. First of all, you got to pretend like you're gay. Then you got to pretend like you're conservative, and then from there, the chips fall in their places. I'm just kidding, Tim. Not that you're listening to this. I love you, buddy. You were one of the first guys to do my podcast in LA. That wasn't a cuck. I'll never forget that. Everybody was like, they were frowning upon the Z-Man because I said Patton Oswalt may or may not have killed his wife. But guess what? Tim Dillon goes, I'll do your podcast when everyone, and I mean everyone, turned their backs on me. And I'm calling out the names, dude. Ryan Sickler, you all turned your backs on me. I saw you. Josh Potter, all you fucks turned your backs. Neil Brennan, I saw you in the hallway and you turned the other direction. Whitney Cummings, and now Ashley Cummings. The whole Cummings family hates my guts, and I'm fine with it.
Let me ask Chad, you and Tony, this question.
Talk to me, Ken.
You guys are prolific in the content you put out. You've been putting out for a long time. So you see this new phenomenon, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm calling it a new phenomenon. These live people going live on YouTube.
Yes,
and
yes.
and I call them, what they called. I call them what do they call, Chad? The super chats. Super chats. I call them super chads.
Ooh.
Because whenever Chad's on a podcast, it seems like whether they're haters or not, they're going in there and they're sending money Chad's way.
The money doesn't stop. It just keeps coming and coming.
So that's what I wanted to say to Earl, because I noticed that with certain other podcasters, when they've gone live, people will throw money at you. It could be on another platform. Maybe, you can go live on what? Instagram or whatever, YouTube, YouTube. And that's how certain other podcasters have built up their Patreon. Tony, Chad,
I will quote the great Daniel Tosh, who had a fantastic joke about he doesn't like to make it rain at strip club. He likes to make it hail, and that's throwing coins at the sluts. And that's what people are doing to me. You're throwing coins at the mud shark, and keep throwing your fucking money, bitches. Because guess what? I'm not going away ever. Learn to love me. Get used to me. And I see the tides turning, all you shit podcasts. You steel toe cunt. Carl in Rochester, you fucking loser who never left Rochester. You guys are turning, and your fans are turning on you because you guys are fucking frauds. You Kumia cucks. You Kumia kiss asses. So go fuck yourself. Make it rain with the super check. Tony Mazur, you're next.
No, Tony Mazur went. Chad Zumock is next.
Oh, my pick?
We're waiting for you to pick Cincinnati or New
Chad,
York Giants.
What are your thoughts on the Sklar brothers?
I like one of them. Cincinnati.
So I got to be honest with you, Tony. I don't know if you've ever heard this or not. To me, you look like a dead ringer for Tom Brady. You must have heard that.
No, I have not. I right now my wife has not divorced me yet, and I don't.
Not yet. Have 3 kids, and we'll see what happens. Yeah, does Tom Brady, what does he do next year? Is he staying in Tampa? Does he go to Miami?
I tell you what I think. You saw what happened today, maybe. So Tampa fired their offensive coordinator, Brian Leftwich, and 4 other offensive coaches.
Get them out of here.
And they fired 2 defensive coaches, but I don't think the defensive coordinator was fired. So they're sending a message to Brady, because I think some of the complaints have been it's such a vanilla offense. There's nothing to it. There's nothing to that Tampa Bay offense. So, when they were healthy and Brady was playing well, they won a Super Bowl a couple of years ago. They want Brady back. Where's he going to go, considering where his kids are?
Miami.
He's going to stay in. Exactly. He's going to.
Giselle took the kids to Miami,
or go to Miami. And Miami. Listen, what's Miami going to do with Tom Brady? 2
elite receivers. You put concussion boy, back him up, and he can learn for a year.
Well, I don't think that's going to happen. I say that he returns to Tampa Bay. That's what I think.
All right.
Well, here's what I was thinking was, do you remember that last season of Peyton Manning? That final season where he couldn't complete a pass from, me to my bathroom, which is 10 feet away from here. And I was there. I saw him. It was that last year they played the Browns, and that team, they built that defense up so well that all you had to do if you were Peyton Manning was just hand the ball off or check down, and they were winning games because of that. And they won a Super Bowl. They beat that 15-1 Cam Newton MVP Carolina Panthers team. So does Brady find a team that has a quarterback that is good, but not great, but a great defense? Now, what could that be? That's why I keep leaning towards San Francisco, but I don't know. I mean, I'm confused right now because I know he wants to leave on top, and he'll play until he tries to win a championship.
Look, Garoppolo's gone. Are they going to give up on the other kid? not
Lance.
Purdy, of course. They're going to are they going to give up on him? They're going to trade him too. So they got two quarterbacks. So, well, one's a free agent, right? Garoppolo's a free agent. But Trey Lance, they're going to have to, what are you going to get for Trey Lance? You got Purdy. Are you going to bring Brady in and sit Purdy and pay Brady all that money?
Think of the jersey sales, though.
Look what, yeah, right. But look how Dallas made him look bad. A Dallas defense that was good early, but have really plateaued. All they did was drop the linebackers, Van Der Esch at times, into the short passes. They took the short passes away from. We lost Earl.
Earl is left.
They took the short passes away from Brady, and and he couldn't do anything with it. And you saw where he was throwing the ball into the ground.
Is that also scheme though? That's
Tony,
what I'm wondering.
It could be the scheme. It could be Tony, a little bit of both. It could be the scheme. I say Brady wasn't making a lot of throws all year long. What you saw was what you saw from Brady all year long, except in week 18 where he threw for 354, 345, something like that. But
he got worse because when he had Evans out,
Cowboys exposed him.
Out, yeah,
I know. The Cowboys exposed him by dropping the linebackers back. They exposed him because that short game, that short passing game, the slants and things like that, they took away from him. And you saw, and other teams saw that. That's on film now. That's on film. Like I said, it's Miami or Tampa Bay for Tom Brady.
Put me down for the Bengals. Let's get this thing rolling. Ken's got a heart out. Speaking of the Dallas Cowboys, they're going head-to-head with Dan Soder's San Francisco 49ers, ladies and gentlemen. Is this the game of the week? It's Sunday. What is it, Sunday night? 6:30. Cowboys in San Fran. San Fran giving up 4. Let's go to the Dallas Cowboys fan, Ken Mosca, the commissioner.
Yeah, I'll be squeezing the shit out of this thing, so I don't have a stroke or a heart attack. But now, look, San Francisco is the best defense left in this tournament, Chad. They really are. They are the best defense. They have 2.5 days of rest time and prep time that the Cowboys aren't going to have. And even Tampa Bay wouldn't have had it. So they have that advantage there. Look, I think, San Francisco's going to win. I think it's going to be close. It's a field goal game. It opened at 3.5. It's 4 now. I'm going to take Dallas, and I'm going to take those 4 because I think it's going to be a field goal game. And who's going to be kicking for Dallas? We'll see. The son of a bitch can't make an extra point, miss 5 in a row. So I'm going to take Dallas. I think they can cover. But it's 4 right now, so I am going to do that. I'm going to take the 4 and see what surprises they have in store for Brock Purdy.
Earl Skakel. Can you hear me?
Once again, I don't know who makes these lines, but they are good. Boy, I think Purdy's the worst quarterback left in the playoffs, but he's played really good. He's a Cinderella story. But, I think this Dallas is a pretty good defense, and the pressure will be – I think this is the best defense he'll have faced. And I do – when it's Prescott versus Purdy, you got to go with Prescott. McCaffrey's a wild card, though. Like, he could win the game on his own. Man, this is a tough one. I'm going to go with the 49ers at home. I just think McCaffrey is such a difference maker. Purdy's played well. He might be the worst ranked quarterback in the playoffs yet left, but I always favor the home team when it's a real close game. So I'm going to go with the Niners.
Yeah, and it's going to be what the pressure that Dallas puts on him because he hasn't faced this kind of pressure in the 6 or 7 games he started, Earl. So if Dallas has any shot, it's the pressure because they led the league again in the number of pressures, quarterback pressures, and they were third, a close third in the number of sacks. But that's what's going to come down to the pressures they put on this kid. Not so much the sacks, but the pressures.
Tony Mays,
in a weird way. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Go ahead, Earl.
In a weird way, I think the pressure could work in Purdy's favor because then he just dumps the ball off to McCaffrey. McCaffrey should be probably the check down on a heavy blitz play. And that's when the party gets started, when he does it. I mean, for a white guy, I don't think I've ever seen, and I'm not trying to be funny here, I don't think I've ever seen a white guy move at that speed before. Like, he is like the outlier for the Aryan race. I do think the pressure can, in a weird way, work against the Cowboys, because you send all these guys, and then McCaffrey's one-on-one in the open field. That's where those 8-yard dunk passes turn into 30, 40-yard passes.
Tony, Earl, so who's your pick on this one?
Oh, sorry. No, I said I'm going for the Niners.
Niners.
Okay, Niners.
He said Niners.
All right, let's move it over to Tony Mazer. Check Your Brain podcast. Go sign up.
Yeah, I'm going to go Niners here as well, because I think one of the keys is to force Dak to throw the ball. And granted, he threw 4 touchdowns the other day, but that's a pretty demoralized Tampa team. I think Pollard's not a bad running back. I think Ezekiel Elliott's done. I think Zeke is just
You're right.
just nothing left in the tank right now. And if you can kind of force them to if you're going to force Dak to throw the ball, and Dak makes bad decisions, and if you're facing a better defense, that's going to be something. I mean, I think everybody's expecting this to be a very defensive oriented game, but I think how it wins is if Purdy makes those plays, if they draw that defense and kind of keep Dallas off balanced right there with McCaffrey, with Samuel, with some of these other kind of Swiss Army knives that they have on that team, I think that's what's going to win the game. So I think they win probably by a touchdown. So I'm going to go with San Francisco in this game.
Dallas has the big edge at quarterback, and it's rare to have a team that can match San Francisco's top talent player to player. It's going to be a barn burner. It's going to be a lot of fun. Like Earl said, whoever makes these spread points, they're fucking geniuses. This is the one pick I'm going to shy away from Ken Mosca, because I think he went with his homer attitude. I think he wants Dallas to win. I think he's putting it out there to Dallas to win. He's trying to manifest it like he's Gino Bisconte. And I'm going to go ahead and pick the 49ers. And that's my pick. And that's what's going to happen.
Well, that's one Patreon chat I think I need to reevaluate.
By the way, Chad, our Cleveland Browns just hired Jim Schwartz as the defensive coordinator.
Oh,
Yeah.
good.
And that's an example. This is what bad teams do. And the Browns are a mediocre to bad team, basically. I mean, is what you do is you hire the defensive coach who wants to be a head coach again. Jim Schwartz wants to be a head coach again. You almost wonder if the team is going to get out to a bad start again, just so Jim Schwartz, like, guys, I used to coach the Lions back in the day. I could probably step in if need be. That's the only reason he took this job, is he knows that Stefanski is on the hot seat. And you see this with bad teams, that you'll have a former head coach want to get back into the coaching ring. And if they do that, they'll take on a coordinator job, knowing that when they start looking around going, hey, we probably should get rid of this head coach. You're like, hey, who here has some head coaching experience? So the Browns, once again, are going to be a disaster. Last place this past year. And Earl's Steelers, by the way, a team that was supposed to be rebuilding, were like a field goal away from making the playoffs this year. So, that's what a good team.
I want to ask Earl about that. Good point. Tony, it's a good point. Before we go, I want to ask Earl how he feels about his Pittsburgh Steelers, about Kenny Pickett, who, what was it, the last month, 5 weeks of the season, Earl, he played, or maybe it was longer than that. But, you should be feeling really good about your Pittsburgh Steelers for next season.
Well, Canada's coming back, which is a controversial decision. Now, where do the Steelers go? You think I would know this, being I'm a Steeler mark. The last 8 games, weren't they like 7-1 or 6-2 at the worst?
Yeah, they finished. Remember, they were 4-8 at one point in time, right? And they finished 9-8. That's what
whatever
I
that is. My math is off, but so I don't think Canada's as bad as people make them out to be. Although the numbers don't lie. I think his only 2 years with the Steelers, the offense has been ranked 28 and 26. So a lot rests on him. The defense will be fine. I mean, with Highsmith, who came out of nowhere to really be a good complement towards Watt. Hayward is still, their defense is fine. Fitzpatrick's great. And I'm gonna talk about them when they still had Claypool. Like when you had Claypool, Johnson, Pickens, Freiermuth, Harris out of the backfield, their Steelers offense, the play calling seemed kind of bland. I'm not saying every play has to be a trick play or long bombs, but there's no way that they shouldn't have scored more. So it is concerning that, and now Claypool's gone. But
now, Earl, are you talking about this Claypool? Wrong Claypool.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But
You know
wanted to insert some comedy into this.
I thought his name was Tommy the Cat.
Jerry was a race car driver.
That's beautiful.
So it will be interesting to see. Pickett will improve, and I'm very comfortable with Trubisky as backup. He wasn't the problem. There's nervous anticipation for how the Steelers will do next year.
Well, and also Baltimore is just a disaster when you have their quarterback Lamar Jackson, who just basically quit on the team, doesn't want to be back. And they still played fairly well against Cincinnati, but I think that team is pretty is going to have to take a step back. I thought it was John Harbaugh's worst year of coaching this past year, and they still made it to 10-7, but I don't think they're going to be 10-7 next year. So, if you're the Browns and the Steelers, you still have an opportunity to possibly make wild card next year if Baltimore is just going to go through this, cultural crisis they have.
But it's rare that I agree with the player, like in terms of a contract, but, and I'm certainly not putting my fitness regimen on the par of Jackson, but I've had a bad knee before, and, one false move and it happens all over again. So I can see him. I don't necessarily know if I'd say he quit on the team, but with no contract for next year, I see at least a little bit his point of view. And I see the team's point of view of not giving him a contract because, hey, your knee's a little wonky. We got to talk about this. But I think his backup played well, so the Ravens have a little bit of leverage here. But I'm sure there's every team in the league would want Jackson, wonky knee or not. But I kind of see his point of like, hey, you guys didn't it's a. Knee injuries are dicey, man. Especially at his level.
Did you see Earl? Did you see the tweet that RG3 sent out the other day? He was offensive rookie of the year, okay, with the Redskins. Tore his knee up, came back way too early, wearing that big brace, and it ended his career. He had another knee, he hurt the knee again, and it ended his career. He was never the same player. He's telling Jackson, don't come back, dude, until you're absolutely sure that you're okay. So you talk about, the medicals, like with those baseball teams that went through with Korea. What do you think is going to happen with Jackson? And Woody Johnson, the Jets, is all over this guy. He has to be number one on the list when he says, I'm not sparing any expense for a quarterback. So this guy's at the top of his list.
Well, I think Vic is the one who got RG3 going because Vic basically called Jackson, for lack of a better word, a pussy, and said, just put a brace on, bro, and get out there. But, I don't, I think this generation is a little more cautious. Like Terry Bradshaw, if this happened in 1977, he's fuck it, give me the brace, I'll play. Because I think that there wasn't as much scrutiny back then, in terms of player care, and it's like, hey, Bradshaw, suit up, put the brace on, or there's 8 other quarterbacks who'll do it. Now it's just with social media and everyone's tweeting. I think it would have been a bad look for the Ravens if they forced him to get out there and God forbid he got hurt. I think, but I see Jackson's, it's RG3 is because they're very similar quarterbacks.
And you know what? And him not playing, look what happened today, Earl. Greg Roman, who's a local guy, went to, the same high school I did, and the late Chris Ford as well. Greg Roman got fired today. And they can say that mutual agreement, he stepped down. He got fired today. He got fired because, Jackson couldn't play. That's why he got fired. When, 2 years ago, they broke the NFL rushing record, top offense. Even last year, and I might be getting my years mixed up, maybe last year they had to, they broke the all-time NFL rushing record as a team. This year he's forced to quit.
Ken, I'm just giving you a heads up. It's 5:58. I know you have a hard out at 6. So,
okay, Chad, thanks. But we have one more thing. 2 minutes. The old, National Football League is becoming more and more as the International Football League. I know Tony really looks at this stuff. 5 games, 2023, 3 in London, 2 in Germany. The home teams are Kansas City, New England, Buffalo, Tennessee, and Jacksonville. The other 5 teams have not been named yet. What do you guys think about the International Football League, the new IFL, I call it?
I mean, isn't Jacksonville in it every single year? Just because it's like,
yeah, they are. There's some kind of an agreement. Tony, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't know how well. I mean, we've talked about the NFL Europe, that was a thing for a little bit, and they've been trying to bring it back. You said, Ken, that Germany really enjoys American football.
Yeah,
it's still they're trying to grow it in the UK, but I don't know. I mean, what I think is I think it sucks for the fans that want to go see one of those games. Well, and
they're selling
they take
out.
a home game
they're
away.
Selling out. They're selling out, Tony.
That's fine.
So,
it's one fewer game for a lot of fans who are local who want to go see one of those teams.
Hey, fans, get your passports ready.
Yeah, I don't think the NFL cares about the local fans, which is crazy because they're the ones supporting the team the most. What are the local fans going to do? Not buy season tickets? Like they're kind of effed.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't like all this international play because you got to worry about the game in the United States. Like there's not a lot, but there's enough problems with the presentation here. Who cares about some schmuck in London going to the game? Because he's not supporting he might buy a Raiders t-shirt, but he's not supporting the Vegas Raiders. Some guy in Vegas.
Not like the Vegas fans are. And the Oakland fans are still coming out every week. Earl, the Oakland fans are making the trek to Las Vegas. That live in the Bay Area. They're still going to Las Vegas. They're still supporting the team.
And by the way, I know you got to go, but I would watch out for the Raiders being the wild card for Brady because I think they would do for him what the Kings did for Gretzky. When the Kings got Gretzky,
good analogy.
Wow.
Who do you want? We'll get them.
Good analogy.
The Kings, they got every friend of his from the Edmonton Oilers, and it was basically the Edmonton Oilers West. I could see them say, "We'll get Gronkowski back. What receivers do you want? We'll trade for him." Mark Davis is like he wants to make that splash in Vegas.
We'll get Mike Vrabel to coach.
And look at all those. Hey, Earl, look at all those. And look at all those Stanley Cups he won in Los Angeles.
He didn't win any. Yeah,
I know.
All right, guys, let's wrap.
I was at that Stanley Cup series when we lost, when we were up. Devastated. It was like hockey 9/11 in Los Angeles.
All right, go around the horn. What's your plugs, everybody?
Sorry, Earl. I had to bring it up. Go ahead, guys.
Tony.
Patreon.com/Tony Mazer. And check me out next week at the Funny Stop with Aaron Berg and Louis J. Gomez. And,
never heard of them.
For the I don't know who they are either.
Earl Skakel.
Enjoy.
I'm just at Earl Skakel everywhere. And if you really want to follow me on Patreon, you're going to have to put a little effort in until I fix my URL. But I'll do it tonight.
And it's worth it. It's worth it.
Thank you, Ken.
Ken, you got any plugs?
I have no plugs. I mean, if I say when my show is, you guys make fun of me. I got
because it's always like 9 months away.
This is 5 months away. So I got Voss coming to town. I'm working on Florentine and Zumock coming to town, but Voss is coming. So
all right. We'll
Yep.
make that shit happen. Sign up to the Patreon, everybody. Enjoy a football weekend. Thanks again for your continued support. Watch Earl on all his podcasts, Tony on his, and we will see you next week. I guess we'll see what happens with the Cowboys, Ken. All right. That's
right,
a wrap.
guys. If
Good
I'm
night,
not here-
guys.
if I'm not here, you know what happened.